In the first part, he went through deity, divinity, and God, many ways in which we use the term God, ways how we use divinity, and the term deity, and how we recognize that. It's through truth, beauty, and goodness. He went through the first source, where everything came from. He outlined all of universe reality, of actual reality, potential reality, absolute, sub-absolute, things like that. Then he described the two principal players, you might say, involved here: personality and energy, matter and our personality, and how we're trying to unite in mind and our spirit, dominance of spirit over matter. And that's what we're going to start today, is on the Supreme. He said to begin with, though, that he would analyze reality in three arenas: time and space, beyond time and space, but transcending time and space, and then but have a reference to time and space. And the third arena would be the absolute, where it has no relation whatsoever to time and space, and that's what he wants to do, is to bring us up to that arena where he exists. And that is what he is doing on the first step today, which is time and space, how we operate under the deity direction and activity, where we are right now, in time and space. The whole idea, though, is to build up enough energy, you might say here, to catapult us into the other realm existing between the finite and the absolute. I might mention here, it gets very confusing sometimes when we talk about these terms, like the word absolute, absolutes. You just kind of wonder, what's he talking about? Let me give you three areas here. The absolute, T-H-E, capitalized, the absolute means the I am universal Father. There's nothing beyond him. And absolute means non-expandable in either truth or fact or values. Non-expandable. You cannot add anything to it. It talks about seven absolutes. The seven absolutes refer to God the Father, the Son, and the Spirit, paradise, and then he has three other, which are deity absolute, universal absolute, and unqualified absolute. So here we have the absolute, the Father, seven absolutes, all of these seven. Then they refer to the absolutes, plural, not seven, just the absolutes. That almost always refers to the potentials of divinity, which are deity absolute, universal absolute, and unqualified absolute. Those three things. Another source of problems with me in the very beginning reading this book was the terms supreme, ultimate, and absolute. In my training, those three things all referred to one thing: God, the absolute Father. But in the terms in which he used it in this book, no. There's three different things. Supreme refers to God in his aspect of activity in time and space. The ultimate is Trinity beyond time and space. And the absolute is in a realm which we have know nothing about, but which we hope to get to eventually if we follow his divine will. Let's get through the Supreme here for the moment. That's where we are now. God, the Supreme, is an actualizing deity. He is not complete. It is a being who created in time. It's what we call experiential. The Father, the Son, and Spirit are existential. They have always existed. There's never been a time when they were not. There was a time when the Supreme Being was not. He had a specific beginning in time. But he is all we can know about God down here. We do not know God the Father as in the infinite realm, absolute. So we might say are helping the Supreme Being to become actualized. Everything we do down here that has any value is being recorded in the absolute with reference to the Supreme Being. The Supreme Being is a being in paradise, but when he's called Almighty Supreme, that means his activity down here in our realms of the universe, time and space existence. That is the Almighty Supreme. The Supreme Being in paradise and the Almighty Supreme down here, with it all synthesizing and correlating into one being, which we call the Supreme Being. Those three things are one and the same under different aspects. So we have existential existence and we have experiential existence. Those two things. The deity mechanism of the Master Universe is twofold as concerns eternity relationship. God the Father, the Son, and the Spirit are eternal. They are existential. God the Supreme, God the Ultimate, and God the Absolute are actualizing beings. They're experiential beings. We are contributing to their actualization as we speak and as we act in our daily lives. Whatever we do is recorded. Just like on a computer, you can't get rid of it. Same way with our existence and every act we do and thought. These actualizing deity personalities are future eternals from the time when and as they power personalize. Power personalized means that they are synthesizing in the Supreme Being in paradise. The activity is done down here, but it's being synthesized in paradise in the personality of the Supreme Being. As we live our existences in matter and spirit, we are also helping to synthesize in the Supreme Being also. So deity is therefore twofold in presences, existential and experiential. The Father, Son, and Spirit are existential. The Supreme and the Ultimate are totally experiential. Now there's a trick here about the next one. God the Absolute. He is also existential in potential. And there is where we have the chance of getting into the absolute existence, because he will be part of what we're already into down here, as you'll see if we go further on in the analysis. So God, having achieved existential deity expression in the Son and the Infinite Spirit, is now achieving, he's already achieved that, he is now achieving experiential expression in time and space and beyond time and space.